The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast. Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Zachary Owen Turner, and today we have a little bit of a different episode for you and do our Andor reactions, and then next week we will be back with a regular episode for you. Without further ado, let's get into this Andor Season 2 trailer. I will go first, as I'm sure Matt will have some critiques because I really like this show, and Matt historically has been, a little so-so on this show. So we're going to start with the hype train on me. First off, the music, amazing, really sets the tone. I'm loving this era that we're getting of like rock music in these Star Wars trailers. We got a little bit with the Huttese version of the 80s song for Skeleton Crew, and now we're just getting a full-on Revolution starts now. Really cool trailer for me. Looks like we're getting a leveled up Cassian. He's not just boots on the ground. We see him in multiple different costumes. We see him as what looks like a senator at the end, or, definitely something in high society. So I think we're actually going to get a lot of espionage. I think we're going to get the full-on start to the rebellion. We see X-Wings in the trailer. We see what looks like on Yavin. Yavin 4. Maybe we might even butt right up to Rogue One. We get views of all of our characters from Season 1. It looks like they're all returning. We also get a shot of Luthen. The shot of him made me think, I don't think Luthen makes it out alive. I think he is gone by the end of the season, especially with that monologue from Season 1. I was rewatching it this week, talking about, what he's given up to end the Empire and to start this rebellion. I don't think you have an epic monologue like that and not get to go out in some big bad way.
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
We get shots of Ben Mendelsohn back as Director Krennic and the Death Star being built. We're definitely going to be moving forward in the timeline. Very excited about that. We get a shot of maybe K2 or maybe just another Imperial droid, although we do know K2 is coming back this season. I'm sure that was actually K2. A lot of fighting, a lot of explosions. We get some shots of Mon Mothma as well. She looks distressed, which means that, I think we're going to just get full into Rebellion, kind of cover the early Rebellion years, all through the lens of Cassian Andor, and I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. The first season I thought was really different and new and exciting, a little grown up for Star Wars, but, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's okay to have all different types of stories in the Star Wars that we love. Till next week, we will be back where we both watched Caravan of Courage, so we'll see you next week with a big review of that, and I'm going to shoot it over to Matt for his reaction to the trailer.
Thank you, Zach. As Zach just told everybody, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Like Zach said, we'll be back at you with a full episode next week. As to my response to the Andor trailer, real quick, I want to defend myself a little, because Andor is a popular show, and it's not very popular with me. I push back on it being the best Star Wars show, when it is a show that, when you quote the creator of the show, he doesn't really like Star Wars, and he likes to do his different thing with it. So anyway, neither here nor there, I really did like this trailer. I love that it didn't give the plot away. I like that we are, at least as far as Star Wars goes, in an era where we don't feel like we need to spoil everything. We can just sell you on images and tone. StarWars.com calls this a teaser, so we will most assuredly get a proper trailer before release. As for things we saw, looks like Mon Mothma's at her daughter's wedding. That's my prediction. And then Mon Mothma appears to be talking to Director Krennic. Reminds me very much of the scene from Leia, Princess of Alderaan, where Tarkin just shows up at a meeting that was a meeting of kind of rebel conspirators, and then Tarkin just appears, and they kind of have to smile through their teeth and act like it's not a problem that he's there. I think that could be a similar vibe. Looks like Cassian Andor steals a TIE Avenger. I've been saying that for a bit since whatever, it was either image or like a sizzle reel or something they put out months ago of Cassian sitting in an Imperial cockpit. This looks like the same thing. TIE Avenger is very, very similar to the TIE Defender from Rebels. The ship design is totally different, but the vibe and narrative is the same. It was an Imperial attempt to create an actual combat fighter that could combat like an X-Wing and not just kind of the run-of-the-mill, easily destructible TIE fighter. We also see some of Saw Gerrera's partisan X-Wings with the black paint on them. Similar to Zach, I think Luthen's toast. Like Zach said, you do not give him that monologue in Season 1 without seeing him pass and not get to see the sunrise like he talked about. Would not surprise me if it is not an epic passing, if it's just kind of unceremonious and raw. And speaking of unceremonious atrocities, war crimes, I think we're going to get the Gorman Massacre in this show. The shots that we've been seeing in promo material for a while now for Season 2 of some kind of urban environment with stormtroopers and explosions, and it looks like they're attacking civilians. I think we're going to see the Gorman Massacre. If you don't know, quick canon dive. The Gorman Massacre is something that has been around in Star Wars since Legends, and it is kind of the straw that broke Mon Mothma's back. It's what made her finally have enough of this and declare rebellion. I hope we're going to get the Gorman Massacre, and then we're going to get Mon Mothma's full speech. You see a portion of it in Star Wars Rebels, but I think that while the tone of Rebels would not fit Andor, I don't think it would make sense for us to see a Tony Gilroy recreation of the Rebels episode where they rescue Mon Mothma and then she makes her address to declare open rebellion and combine the different rebel cells together. But it would make sense to see her speech before the Senate that gets her declared an enemy of the state. Last thing about the release schedule for Andor, they are going to release 3 episodes every week starting April 22nd, and they're going to get this whole show done in a month. That is 3 hours of gritty Star Wars to take in every week. As for us and covering it, we're going to be about a week behind, but that's going to give us and you time for the show to sit in, and you can really chew on it before we talk about it in great detail. But anywho, that is my response to the trailer. Like Zach said, we will be back to review a very, very, very different type of Star Wars. Also something I'm not really a fan of, which is the Caravan of Courage, the first Ewok adventure. That'll be our retro review for next week, but in the meantime, remember, the Force of Others will be with you. Always.
The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.